You know, today I was going to talk about this right here. Ubisoft Barcelona union files lawsuit against return to office mandate. And what irreparable damage the COVID nonsense has done to the, well, working morale of so many people. Because, see, here's the thing. The whole work from home thing is 98% bullshit, alright? There are some people out there who can work as effectively from home as they can at their place of employment. There are even some that become more effective. But these are the exception rather than the rule. They are the extreme rarity, as, well, most of them do it because they love what they do. They have a burning passion for it, or some other reason to push themselves. Whereas the majority of people who don't do their work because of any burning passion or deep-seated interest, well, they do it for a paycheck. And so long as that keeps coming, if there is no immediate supervision, they're going to probably choose to spend that time in their favorite chair. And I also do love this whole thing, like, oh, it happened so suddenly, you see, suddenly and without transparency. I'm pretty sure most of these corporations have been whining about people to get back to work now for about, 2 or 3 years at this point, but hey, details, and apparently it would create logistical problems as offices aren't prepared to accommodate all the remote workers at once. Help me. Seriously, the whole allow people to work on their own supervision thing has been, by and large, an enormous failure, and simply just an extension of the daycare style of work environment that we've seen in far too many TikTok videos. But you know what? I don't feel like being depressed today, so instead of talking about this and the, again, massive damage it is doing to our work morale, I want to talk about this instead. Starship Troopers star Casper Van Dien says franchise should be ride as a TV series. Yes, it should. Well, TV series or movies. You know what? Yes, I would prefer a big old TV series, like an 8-episoder, an hour and a half episode each, like full current year mass TV show style. But here's the thing: delay it for at least 2 or 3 years. Because this can't happen today. And Boning Into Comics did a very good write-up on this, in my opinion. Van Dien, who played Private Johnny Rico in the 1997 film, spoke to his vision for a long Starship Troopers TV series during an interview with comicbook.com. As Steve was aware of recent circulation of fan petition calling for Hollywood to bring a new Starship Troopers movie to life, the actor confirmed that not only did he know of its existence, but that he had also been putting it out on my streams, get Sony's attention, and make the Starship Troopers movie or TV series. I think it would be great for a series, yeah, the whole thing would work. The visual effects today would be a huge win for Sony. With the movie, I think there's something they have to do with Disney too, but with the series, I think they could do it all themselves. Why wouldn't you make that? It'd be great, and you do have Rico wanting to do it. Now, of course, Casper Van Dien does have an ulterior motive here, in that I'm sure he would like the employment, but more importantly, the reason why you could not do Starship Troopers today, as in right now, is because of the political confusion surrounding the title, and they go on to talk about this as well right here. See, Starship Troopers, when it first came out, wasn't a rip-roaring success by any degree. In fact, I think they mentioned, there we go, only earning $121 million against a $100 million budget. This was largely because of really poor marketing, where even the director himself, Paul Verhoeven, was like, yes, this is a Nazi movie about Nazis, but satirical. Like, in 1997? Are you insane? That probably scared off more moviegoers than anything else. It was also a hyper-violent movie, particularly for the time, and it raised a fair few flags about violence and entertainment too, so yeah, it was poorly timed. But it gained, of course, a massive cult following, and later the movie has only grown more and more popular, but it has also grown more popular amongst the incorrect kind of people. See, Starship Troopers fan can broadly be divided into 2 groups of people. Those who have no actual understanding of the meaning or the intent of satire, and simply just look at Paul Verhoeven going, "It's a satire," and think to themselves, "Oh, well, this person says so, so it must be true." These people would have made excellent religious converts back in the day, incidentally, but hey, details. And those who look at the movie and go, "If this is a satire of fascism, it is an incredibly poor one," and instead view it mostly as just an awesome war story, with some definitive commentary on more masculine liberalism. Liberalism that is not weak and effete as the version we have today, but more of an assertive form of liberalism that is not afraid to bring its values to the fore, and thus actually appreciates the ideas of personal liberty and freedom, and in fact views the idea of government, of rulership, as something almost a little distasteful. It's not something you should desire. It's certainly not something that everyone should want. It is instead self-sacrificial. It is something that somebody does for a genuine desire to serve the greater good, rather than simple self-aggrandizement, which is largely what politics have become in this day and age. This is why you cannot do this right now. If you were to do a Starship Troopers television series right now, oh boy, every single mainstream media outlet on the face of the earth would be in unified lockstep condemning it as the most vile fascist thing ever produced. And bear in mind, well, the original Starship Troopers had quite the negative media furor around it when it came out way back in the day, and that caused a lot of damage to it. Now, granted, people's faith in mainstream media has been reduced somewhat at this point, and one could even argue that the claims of the movie being fascist might actually help it at the box office, and, you know, kind of, yeah, or well, television series and the ratings, the viewership, and so on. But it would also have a real hard time with the advertisers. I mean, can you imagine Disney putting this out? I mean, the advertiser boycott would be epic. Even Sony, like anybody who touches this now would be running one hell of a gamble. But if it is picked up, and if it is done correctly, mind you, here's the big thing too. If they did Starship Troopers today, and it is that vision of masculine liberalism, of self-asserting Western values, that would probably gain a serious audience, absolutely, to the point where even the advertisers would probably have to eventually just throw in the towel and agree to coexist with it, as they did recently with Twitter. After having banned Twitter, or boycotted it for a very long time, due in part to complaints from special interest organizations, they had to give up and start advertising on Twitter again, because that is where the audience is. If Starship Troopers becomes the same thing, well, they'll be forced to accept it. But that is assuming that companies like Sony or Disney, God help me, would be able to actually make that movie. Bearing in mind, Starship Troopers itself was a brilliant accident, in essence, but Paul Verhoeven, who set out to create a completely different movie, simply bumbled into this version of Starship Troopers, largely because he had somebody else write the majority of the script, and then he just touched it up here and there and added in his own cinematic flair. Could lightning possibly strike twice in the same IP? I very much so doubt it, especially as the other Starship Troopers movies, which I prefer not to speak about, but there was actually two more. They're not very good. 2 is particularly bad. 3 has at least some inkling of what it's trying to do, but not a good one. Not a very good one. And even like the animated stuff from Japan, they too, like the first animated movie, yeah, that one was pretty close to Starship Troopers. The second one, where Emma Watson is Space Hitler, well, 1, confused PP moment, and 2, no, that's not how the Federation works. At all. And that's the thing. I do not believe it is culturally or politically possible right now to create a Starship Troopers movie that is faithful and effectively conveys the points of book and or movie. Unless, I don't know, you call Sargon, I guess, and get him to direct it. That would be the only way I could see it being even mildly possible. And in that case, I do expect it will contain a fair few complicated ideas that might confuse the average audience as well. So, yeah, I agree. I want to see a Starship Troopers movie too, and television series. I would love that, but in 3 to 4 years. At the earliest. That's when they need to start writing it. In essence, this needs to happen just as the right reaches its peak ascendancy. This must be the firework celebration of the right-wing hegemony, in essence. And then when people, start going crazy and everything starts breaking down, well, at least we will be able to look back at it and go like, no, you tards, this! Not that, this. A man can dream, can he not? So, and we'll need to, we could do a simple retelling as well, and I think honestly that's going to be the clue. Retell it, and then advance on the story like halfway through the season. So, Casper Van Dien is an absolute must. He's probably a bit long in the tooth for Johnny Rico now, but make him a Sky Marshal. Make him Drill Sergeant Zim. Oh. Now that would be justice, wouldn't it? Oh, I kickstart this shit. I'll pay to see Johnny Rico, the old school Johnny Rico, as is in essence Drill Sergeant Zim. Absolutely. But yes, in 3 to 4 years. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.